If I could make you remember just one slide out of this entire course, it very well might be this one because evaluating AI generated work is super important, and I really can't overstate the importance of it. While AI can be a really great tool to help make your life a lot easier, these tools are far from perfect, at least as they currently stand. Sometimes they make mistakes, and then other times they just flat out make things up. And we call those AI hallucinations. And it's basically when the model creates something that might sound legit, but that just isn't true at all. So, whenever you're using AI to create content or maybe help with some workflow, I highly recommend having a quick review checklist in place. And I'm actually going to tie these first two bullets together because they are somewhat related. But to start with, make sure that any numbers you're working with are accurate and that they're tied to the actual source data. AI's got the ability to generate numbers that look legit, but that don't come from any authoritative source. So they effectively just get made up by the AI model. So always double check any stats or charts or financials against a formal source of truth to make sure that A, the source data is accurate, and that B, the AI model didn't make any errors when it was performing its calculations. Keep in mind, this one is especially important if you're working in a highly regulated or maybe a high stakes type of environment, so like tax, healthcare, or law. You have to be able to validate any claims or interpretations or summaries that your model generates or helps you out with. And like I've been preaching for a little while now, you can't just absolve yourself of liability because the AI tool is wrong. So, really take your time here to make sure that the information that you're providing is accurate. While it's probably a bit lower of a priority, one other thing that it's worth doing is making sure that any messages written by the AI are written in the right tone. One of the cool things about AI is that it can actually write in different styles, but it doesn't always get the context right. So make sure that you have the right tone before you go ahead and click send on those messages. And on a related topic, make sure that the voice and the level of detail in the message actually fits your audience. So, for example, the overall tone and level of specificity is probably going to vary significantly if we're writing to a board member versus a technical SME on an internal team. Obviously, AI isn't always going to know how to adjust that message, so make sure that you're doing your own review on that message. When it comes to identifying misinformation or maybe AI hallucinations, there's a few things to look out for. First, any overgeneralized statements. If something sounds overly general, like AI is going to revolutionize an entire industry overnight, that's probably something that you want to take a closer look into just to validate it. Even just in my day to day life, anytime I hear words like always or never or everyone or everything, my ears just kind of perk up and the skepticism starts to kick in. And I also like to apply that same kind of mindset to AI, especially if precision is important for something that I'm working on. Might be a little bit aggressive to technically call this one a red flag, but at the very least, this second bullet is something that you're going to want to be aware of. When AI starts to repeat the same language across different outputs, meaning different pieces of context, your message kind of starts to feel robotic and even just a little bit lazy. And this is especially true if you send messages based on some type of set cadence. So maybe, for example, providing the CFO with monthly P&Ls for a certain business unit. While we don't need to reinvent the wheel every time we come up with these messages, we also don't want people to feel like they're just getting a templated message. So, making sure that AI switches up its wording and its tone once in a while, especially if and when context changes, can make those interactions feel just a bit more authentic. Lastly, keep an eye out for any incorrect or maybe outdated sources. This is similar, but just a little bit different to the point that we made earlier about AI sometimes being inaccurate. Even if AI finds the right source and pulls data from that source of truth, there is a risk that the source might be outdated. So, for example, if you ask an AI tool what the standard deduction is for a given year, there's a chance that they might reference a legitimate IRS resource, but pull it from the wrong year. So, again, make sure you look at the reference material when it's available and give the data that's produced by the AI model a quick sanity check within that source of truth.